You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere.
Across Wisconsin, from Hudson to Horicon, all the way to Hayward on the Civic Media Radio Network, and all the way to Hanoi if you're listening on the mobile app. This is the Todd Albaugh Show, pursuing truth wherever it may lead. Now, I'd like to point out, we have a Richland Center listener on here, and he asked a very important question. Now, he's clearly one of Todd's homies, don't you think?
I believe so. Yeah, it's Sean in Richland Center who texted
Todd?
in.
Do you know this guy before? Or is this really somebody? Maybe it's Todd sending texts.
I don't think so. No, he's a regular listener.
His undisclosed location. All right. Well, the question for those of you who are listening, I'm Trygve Olsen, the guest host. I'm a regular Wednesday guest. I usually stay through Which is Worse. But I am hosting today. But I was asked by somebody in Richland Center how Todd and I got to know each other. Todd and I got to know each other because Dale Schultz's Senate office was right next to a Senate office where I was working, not for a very long period of time. And then I went to the Lieutenant Governor's office. And Todd and I interacted quite often during that period. And fast forward, Todd worked for Scott Klug and Steve Gunnarsson. I had worked for Steve. And our mutual friend, Chris Andrews, who I do work with and I absolutely adore. She was my first boss. She was the greatest mentor I've ever had. Well, have and still have, quite frankly. She's not dead, so I shouldn't be talking about her in the past tense. She's amazing. She had also been a mentor for Todd. She was Scott Klug's chief of staff. She called me up. She said, "Todd's going to have this radio show. Have you talked to Todd?" I said he should talk to you. And I said, "No, I haven't talked to Todd in a long time." Todd called me up. Todd asked me if I would come on the show. Do you remember this, Zommers? It was the first Wednesday that you guys were on the air. I had so much fun. I said to Todd, "I'll come on anytime." And he said, "How about next Wednesday?" And you've been stuck with me ever since, Zommers.
Yeah, with very few exceptions. A couple weeks here and there, and even most of those you found another day.
Yeah, I mean, usually I haven't been traveling as much lately, but yeah, I've come to you, and I've come to you from various locations around the world too. It's just the life I lead. I wish I was leading that life from overlooking the St. Croix River, but unfortunately, that isn't the life that I chose. I have no one to blame but myself. Mr. Zommers, it's time for us to play my favorite game on this show, and I think we have a good one today, don't we?
I believe we do.
Are you going to hit the intro music?
It's time for
What's Worse?
What's Worse? It's time to play What's Worse, the game we play every day. There are no prizes to win. It's just your chance to get your voice heard across the radio, all around the state and around the world on Civic Media and on the Civic Media app. And today we have the question, what's worse, errands or grocery shopping? Errands or grocery shopping. So you can call or text at 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842, or you can text in on the Civic Media app with your answer, what you think is worse, grocery shopping or other kinds of errands, like getting clothes, getting toiletries, things like that.
And remember, that's errands, ERRANDS, not errands, AARONS.
Yes,
the
you were
question
just
is,
ahead.
which is worse, errands or grocery shopping?
You were, Cam in Appleton was just ahead of you. As you were saying that, he texted in errands, AARONs.
Yes, you're wrong about that. I'm going to stand by my man. I am going to be like Tammy Wynette. Zommers is the best in the business. We had that other guy. One day we had a guy who wasn't Aaron, and it really threw me off. He's a really nice guy. He went off to teach.
Oh yeah, that was Sam Davison. Yeah,
Sam, yeah, such a nice guy, but not
absolutely.
nearly as quick on the trigger and not nearly as diverse with his knowledge. All right, Zomer, so which is worse, errands or grocery shopping? This one's an easy one for me. I don't know where this, whatever this ood land, for those who are watching on the stream, where you got this. Oh, it's Foodland. Foodland?
I think so.
Whatever.
I don't
I
know.
don't know where that grocery store is. Which is worse for you, Zomers?
It is a bit of a tough one. I think I'm gonna say that errands are worse
Yeah.
because grocery shopping, I feel like I try to look at it as an opportunity to try new foods, new recipes out.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, there's not much I hate more than shoe shopping or clothes shopping. I like to get clothes that fit and look decent and just wear them and be done with it. I'm not a fashion person, so I think errands are probably worse for me.
Yeah, I think errands are. I don't mind grocery shopping, to be honest. Now, the interesting thing in my household is my wife and I shop at different stores. So my wife likes to go to Aldi. It might be the European in her, because isn't Aldi German? I think it is. There's
Something like
Aldis
that.
all over the world. Yeah, something like that. Whereas I am a Safeway kind of guy. You know what I used to be when I lived in Madison? Do they still have Piggly Wiggly?
They still have it around the state. I don't know if for sure in Madison, but I know when I lived in Manitowoc with my parents, we'd go to Piggly Wiggly. It's pretty close to where we live.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So people, call in. Tell us what's worse, grocery shopping or errands. Now, I'm going to add one caveat. If you call in to say what's worse is errands, I want to know what kind of errands are worse. I will say this, Zommers, on the stream, you have dry cleaning as the errand. Oh my God. That I hate dry cleaning, picking up dry cleaning. I don't think anybody likes dropping off and picking up dry cleaning. I don't know who would
I
other
don't
than the
think I've
dry
ever done
cleaner.
it.
But you know what? They have out here, they have a bunch of services where you just drop it off at a central location and then pick it up. So, and like in a lot of office buildings, they'll have a derby drop and you just put your shit and, oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that. Where you just put your stuff in that, um, like your bag of dry cleaning.
We got a text from Cam in Appleton that says errands are worse because he has an aunt named Erin, Erin. And when he was a toddler, he got really frustrated when his mom told him that she was going to go do some errands. And like, why won't you tell me why you're going to my aunt's house? And I
Uh,
being named Aaron, I had similar things where they'd be like, "We're gonna go do some errands," and I'm like, what?" I'm so confused.
Interesting. Yeah, I just think, not all errands are made the same though, right? Like running to the bank. Now, this is something that we don't really do anymore. I liked going to the bank. Have you ever even gone to a bank?
Yeah.
But
Besides
not
just
very
to
often, I bet.
no, not super often. Um,
Yeah, see
besides just
that?
opening up accounts, I've also gone. I used to have a piggy bank full of change, so every once in a while when it'd
Oh yeah.
get full, I'd go in and deposit like $40 worth of change.
Right. I used to love going to the bank. I still kind of like going to the bank, but going to the bank isn't what it used to be. That used to be an adventure because you'd see people you know. I think it's one of the things that's a problem. We have a caller. All
Yes, we
right,
have
who do we got?
Kurt and Madison on the line.
All right.
Well,
Kurt, are you there?
I am.
Which is worse, errands or groceries?
Errands, and I mean no, errands, because no. Deja vu. I've screwed myself up, and I apologize. I guess what I'm trying to say is it'd probably be errands, because I feel like that no matter how well you plan it, something else comes up and it blows up your day.
All right. Is there any specific kind of errand that you don't like doing?
Yeah. I have a large blanket that covers our couch because we have a dog, and
Yeah.
I have to take it to get it cleaned, given its size. I have to take it to the laundromat, and
Yeah.
kiss a good portion of your day goodbye.
Right. But here's the thing about errands, okay? So we used in the example dry cleaning, and I said I can't stand dry cleaning either. Um, But think about this. If I said your errand is you have to run to the hardware store, you'd probably be okay with that.
Yes.
Yeah, see, so I think the one question that I have about what we see now, Todd's not here to defend this or that. I don't think all errands are created equal. Like, I like going to the hardware store. I can't stand going to the laundromat. I'm like you. I like going to the bank. I don't like going to I don't like running to the post office. Not a big post office guy. How are you on the post office?
Thanks, Kurt, for calling in.
Did we lose Kurt?
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
But for me,
What
with
do you
the
think
post
of the
office,
post office?
I like going to the post office, but then again, that's usually because I don't have that much stuff to ship. And it was because,
Right.
I'm helping my family sell some stuff on eBay. So I packed all of it and I just go, and at least the one in Manitowoc they always still had the self-service kiosks open, even when the rest of the office was closed. So I could just go in, there's nobody there, print out my stuff and throw it in the box and be done.
Oh, you know what's a really bad errand? We'll take the call, but yes, go. Okay, take the call.
We have the Whistler in Richland Center on the line.
Whistler,
Whistler, what's
Richmond
worse,
Center.
errands or grocery shopping? Oh, there was a bad connection there. Seems like we lost him. Sorry about that. But we do have Troy in Mount Horeb. What's worse, errands or grocery shopping?
You beat me to it because I was going to say it depends on the errand. But and like you, I like grocery shopping myself, so I would have said grocery.
I got one for you.
errands are
Here's
worse.
an errand. Here's an errand for you. What do you think of going to the DMV?
Oh my God, that's horrible. And I have to do that every year because I have a CDL. So every year I have a physical, and I have to go in there every year and show them that I did my physical.
Right.
So
You know what's
I don't
funny about
understand-
the DMV in Wisconsin, now living in Virginia? I would take DMV in Wisconsin over DMV in Virginia. In Virginia, it's just the worst. It's an all-day experience.
Yeah, I haven't actually
Oh
had
my
very
God,
many
that
bad
would be
DM.
horrible. Hey,
Yeah, it
real
is.
quick, was that Miley Cyrus singing "Heart of Glass"?
Yes, isn't it good?
Okay, it sounded like her. I'm like, oh wow, that's really good.
Yeah, it is. Teri Barr is
Yep.
gonna come on and we're gonna talk about Ozzy in the next segment. But I said to Zommers, I'm like, the thing. So I have daughters who are 13 and 16, so I have to do a lot of Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande and whatever. But the one thing I'll say about those artists is they really honor those who are from like the 80s and are covering their stuff. And Miley Cyrus's version of Heart of Glass is really good.
It is. And yeah, they really definitely do. Yeah, thanks, Troy, for
Yeah.
calling in.
Yeah, thanks, Troy.
Yeah, and yeah, like Trygve said, next up we have Teri Barr, Madison and Wisconsin radio legend and Wisconsin music aficionado.
Oops. This is the Todd Albaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. I just about missed my out because I am not Todd Albaugh. I'm Trygve Olsen. But join us on the other side with the fabulous Teri Barr to talk a little Ozzy Osbourne and music right here on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to Civic Media. Stay up to date on the latest news and information for your local community and Wisconsin by signing up for our free email newsletter. Visit civicmedia.us/email to get started.
Across Wisconsin, pursuing truth wherever it may lead. This is the Todd Albaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. And we're going to listen to a little bit of Ozzy and the greatest guitar riff by Randy Rhoads in the history of rock and roll. And you know what's crazy? So Teri Barr has joined us. This is a huge moment for me. This is even bigger. I know he's not listening, but hopefully somebody will send him the clip. It was a real honor as somebody who in grade school got to watch Pat Kreitlow on WEAU and now gets to be on the radio with him. But it's an even bigger honor to be on the radio and hosting a show with Teri Barr coming on. Because I used to listen to Teri when I was growing up in my first
Oh,
job, 'cause
that's
we're
so
about
sad.
to-
I'm not that old.
No, same age. We're the same age.
Okay.
Neither of us is old like Pat.
Oh,
Pat's
you
the
got
one
that
who's
right.
old. Yeah, exactly.
I know everyone
Exactly.
comments on that head of hair he has. He definitely has the man anchor hair. Yes.
Doesn't he? Still to
Yeah.
this day, he's got television hair and politician hair. That's the thing.
Oh, no.
And you know what I want to say? I've never actually said it to him. It's like Trent Lott. Trent Lott had politician
Oh,
hair too. Yeah, the ultimate example. Anyway, Teri, I'm so happy to have you on. Now,
yes.
before you introduce yourself, which you probably don't need to because you're on Civic Media, but Zommers, cue up Teri's choice of her favorite Ozzy Osbourne song,
Ooh.
and then let's talk about the Oz a little bit.
Yeah.
We've got a clip here from Ordinary Man featuring Elton John.
Ooh. Yeah. Oh. That is a great choice. You know the thing I hadn't heard that song in a long time.
Yes.
It's a really good anthem for Ozzy now that he's moved on,
Isn't it
right?
something? It really has struck me as I re-listened to it as well. I love his heavier early stuff. I could
Right,
listen to that all day. But when Aaron Zommers asked me, "Do you have a favorite?" Recently, this is my favorite,
right,
re-listening, and, just really hearing those words, and I'm sure what it meant at the time when he recorded this.
right.
Wow. Mhm.
Well, yeah, because it's sort of you can hear the element, and honestly, it's one of the things that makes a great song, right?
Yes.
He's really singing about himself, right? Like
Absolutely.
he's exposing his soul.
Yes, and if
Um,
you watch the video, it's almost like watching a movie about his life.
right,
I enjoy this video a lot. The song itself is great. You don't need the video because you already get all those pictures, but when
right.
you watch the video they put together for this song, wow, it's just history of Ozzy.
So, you know, one of the things that I found interesting, and I saw something because I follow him on Facebook, and Zommers knows this. So, my
Yeah.
buddies and I, my River Falls buddies, we go out to Vegas every 5 years, maybe a little less. But we decided the last time we were out there, we could either go to the Stratosphere and see U2, but we were never really U2 guys, or we could go to, oh, that was the Sphere, or we could go to the Stratosphere and see Rat and Night Ranger. So
Oh, yeah!
we're the kind of guys who go see Rat and Night Ranger and sit in the VIP section for about $80 and hang out with Stephen Percy after
That's
the show.
amazing. Oh, those
Yeah.
guys are
Stephen
so
Percy, by
much
the way,
fun.
looks like a guy who spent his life in Rat and is now 70 years old. But where this connects to Ozzy is I never
Yeah.
knew that when Randy Rhoads died, Brad Gillis is
Mhm.
the guitarist for Night Ranger is who he tapped to
Yeah.
be to replace Randy Rhoads. And Jack Blades talked about it on stage and he's like, we thought we're never going to see Brad again. And all of a sudden
Wow.
one day Brad shows back up and he's like, I told you I was only doing it for a year.
Yeah. That says a lot about the musicianship and the friendships. I
Mhm.
introduced Night Ranger at the Crystal Grand in Wisconsin Dells just a few years ago,
No
and I hadn't
way.
seen them in a long time, but I thought, "You know what? They used to be one of my favorite bands. This is gonna be a blast no matter what." They
Yeah.
kind of blew me away. They
Yes.
haven't lost a thing,
No.
and it
No.
was so much fun, so I'm glad that you recently saw them too.
I had seen them when I was a kid, right?
Me
A couple
too,
of
yep,
times, but
yeah.
I will say that I mean the drummer Kelly, whatever his name is,
Ooh,
it starts with a K. His voice is going a little bit, but there's no
oh,
way that you can sing and drum for as long as he has. I think,
oh,
and be able to do that at 70, what you could do. But what's amazing about them is they're a five piece, right?
mhm,
Actually, a
yep,
six piece because they got the guy that's playing. But
yeah,
you know, it says something about Ozzy too. So that's what I saw in this thing on Facebook by Brad Gillis. He was
mhm.
saying, you know, Ozzy encouraged him to go back to his roots because Ozzy had said that there was a piece of him that had always regretted leaving Black Sabbath and not
Ugh,
doing that the whole way, which I kind
wow.
of
Well,
get, right?
I suppose he did get kicked out
He did kind of get kicked out.
at the
He did.
beginning, but so great to have them all back together time and time again to play.
100%. Teri, can you stay with us through the break and we'll talk a little bit more
Sure,
on the other side?
sure.
Awesome. I'm Trygve Olson. This is the Todd Albaugh Show. We're diverting from politics today to talk about Ozzy Osbourne and music with Wisconsin radio legend Teri Barr, which it's a great honor for me. We'll be right back. Pursuing truth wherever it may lead. Or today, music wherever it may lead. And music
Mhm.
probably is the truth that will set you free. This is the Todd Albaugh Show. It's been hijacked a little bit. I'm your regular Wednesday guest, Trygve Olson, and your guest host today. But in truth, I'm not really the celebrity on here. We have Teri Barr,
Stop.
longtime star of Wisconsin radio.
Oh my
And
goodness.
Teri and I have had this thing kind of going on for a while
Yeah.
where Teri has been texting in about my musical choices. And I know that she has a show where she talks about music. And I thought with Ozzy Osbourne passing and with me taking over the show, much like Matt Damon taking over the Jimmy Kimmel show, I was going to divert and have Teri come on and talk music with me rather than politics because we all occasionally need a break from the political. Teri, so we were just you're picking the songs now. I like the Paul Stanley Kiss. Like
Oh,
that's a good one.
here, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I'll try this. Can you kinda see that?
Oh, it's a picture of Teri Barr and Paul Stanley. Who's the other person in the picture?
That would be my husband,
Oh.
who is yeah, he is standing there watching me cry because I'm meeting Paul Stanley, and Paul Stanley and my husband are laughing.
They are having a pretty good laugh at that.
Yeah,
Was Paul
they
Stanley
had
a
a
nice
moment.
guy?
Pardon?
Nice guy? Was he a nice guy?
Yes. Yes. This is the one that I've always wanted to meet. I've always called him my future ex-husband. Yeah. My husband knows. He always says, "Well,
Yes.
yes, as long as you invite me to any parties." But I
I
was afraid to meet him because I really did not wanna be disappointed, and he did
yeah.
not disappoint.
That is awesome. Yeah, we
Yes.
were just talking about that. I mean, when you do what Teri has spent her life doing and doing what I do, you end up meeting a lot of people who live in the public spotlight. And I will. This is what I found, Teri, and I'd be fascinated what you found. You know where you really see what kind of person they are is how they are when they interact with people, the person at the door or the person when you're going through a kitchen, and that's when you see the real thing comes out. Most of them are going to be nice to the press. Most of them are going to be nice if you're somebody that's, you know, in the operative world. But
Right.
where you really see it is how are they when the lights aren't on.
Mhm. Absolutely. They let down their guard,
Yeah.
and I've seen some of these stars interact with kids, and that's what always blows me away, how cool they are with the kids. That's
Yeah.
when they're just really their authentic
Hmm.
selves.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's true. And it's true of politicians.
I do have big news for you if you would like it.
I would love to have you break news here, and nothing will make Todd more jealous than the guy who hijacked his show, getting Teri Barr to break big
Oh,
news.
this is
Break the big
big.
news.
Yes. I don't know how you feel about Coldplay, you know, they were just in Madison, big
They were
stadium
just
tour
in the
for
news about something, an
Hmm.
astronomer or something.
Yeah, crazy story there, and then, of course, they come to Madison right after that.
Right.
Coldplay just donated a whole bunch of regular size keyboards to the Madison Area Music Association
Oh, how
to
cool.
help kids who can't afford their own keyboard get a keyboard and hopefully inspire them to be a musician.
That's really cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it just
That is
happened.
really awesome. That says
Yeah.
a lot about Chris Martin and the Coldplay guys,
And I
actually.
guess he's done this in a variety of places where they've toured, but
Interesting.
you think, "Okay, will they do that?" And I don't think anybody even really thought about it until all of a sudden, here comes emails flying around between Coldplay and, Frank Productions, and then the Madison Area Music Association, so the executive director just picked up a whole bunch of keyboards.
Wow. That's really cool.
There you go.
I
There's your
wonder what I mean, you wonder what's going through Chris Martin's head because of course they showed that couple on the Jumbotron and he's like, "Oh, they're really shy or having an affair." I'm sure he
right.
didn't think that through, right?
No.
Like and I bet there's a piece of him who's like, "Oh my gosh, how did I set this off?" Like
Yeah,
there
well, and
has to
they
be.
kinda blew it by the way they acted. I don't know if they would have acted normal, if it would have made any difference, but
It
I've
might have
read
just
a couple
yeah.
of things. Chris is beside himself that this has happened because now people are losing their jobs, but
Right.
whew.
I think the thing is, I've never there's Coldplay. I was never really a huge Coldplay guy. Like
Yeah,
I would go
I
see
go
Coldplay.
either. Mhm.
It's not really my bag of tea.
Yeah,
But
you and I like the heavy stuff, the old heavy good stuff.
I do, but I will say this. So because my daughter's ages, right? Like
Ah,
we went last year, a year ago, actually, it may have been today. We were at a Taylor Swift concert in Warsaw. And
oh, that's amazing.
yeah, because we spend my wife's European, and so we spend our summers over in Lithuania. They do,
Oh,
I don't. But I'd gone over. We went to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is a real musician, and one
yeah,
of the things I like about Taylor Swift is the fact that she goes and does stuff with Def Leppard. She does stuff with Bryan Adams, like, and the Miley Cyrus thing. Have you heard her version of Heart of Glass?
oh, yes, many times. I was so
Oh
happy you
my
played it
gosh, is that
today.
I just discovered it. It's phenomenal.
Yes. Miley is that voice, and I
Yeah.
love that, Dolly Parton is her godmother, and she's done a lot of Dolly
Mhm.
songs. I mean, she's just really fun.
Well, and she did with Def Leppard during the Tyler, the thing the Dave Grohl, they had that concert for
Oh,
Tyler
yeah.
Hawkins.
Oh, for his
She
drummer.
went
Yeah, for the
yeah.
drummer's
Uh-huh.
family. Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Hmm.
She's got she might be kinda underrated. The thing about Taylor Swift is what becomes abundantly clear is, like, she puts on a show, but she's a
Yeah.
real musician too.
Yeah. Well, and she can play keyboard, piano. I don't know if she drums, but she can sure play a guitar,
Yeah.
and she
Yeah.
writes her own music.
Yeah. Well, back to Ozzy. I mean, this is the thing. We got to get
Yeah.
back to Ozzy. When you think about Ozzy Osbourne, like Ozzy Osbourne, was he the greatest musician? No. Was he one of the greatest entertainers? Yeah. But he's iconic because
Yes.
of he was different, and there's
Yeah.
something important about that, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no one I don't know how people even find their differences anymore. People already say everything's kind of a retread or a redo. Now you talk about a Taylor Swift and a Miley, somehow they've figured it out how to be different, but there's not a
right.
lot of that anymore.
There isn't, and I think the other thing I go down these rabbit holes sometimes. There's this whole series on YouTube of this guy who he takes and applies auto tune to like stuff that
Oh,
was
no.
before auto tune.
Oh, and it
So like he
wrecks it.
auto tunes. Do you know that guy?
I can't
What's
remember
the
the
name?
name of the channel, but yeah, I know they did it with Robert Plant. That was the one I remember the most.
Yes.
Oh,
Where
no.
with him, he intentionally is flat on a lot of notes because of the blues influence that makes it a darker
Yeah.
tone. And when it shifts it up to be perfectly on pitch, it's just, the magic is gone.
Yeah. So the one that there were a bunch of them that I listened to, "Running with the Devil" by Van Halen, and auto tuning, like, David Lee Roth all over the place, because that's not
Yes,
his
he
thing.
is.
He's not a singer. He's a vaudeville actor, is what he is. but but it totally wrecked the song. What made the song great was the imperfections, right?
Yes, I agree.
The other thing that was interesting is on that one, and it was fascinating to me. So the one musician from that era, you'll find this fascinating, who had perfect pitch is Steve Perry. Steve Perry from Journey was
Yeah.
spot on. Speaking of Wisconsin, so tell a little bit about your show. But
Aw.
before you do that, I'm going to tell you about a Wisconsin thing that I saw.
Okay.
So last year, when my kids were in Europe, I had to go to give a speech in Detroit. And it turned out that next door, Def Leppard and Journey were doing a concert. And they got up on stage and they said, "We have a special guest who wants to play for you." And Steve Miller got up.
Ah!
And the thing about Steve Miller, when you think about the most famous Wisconsin people, Steve Miller's got to be up.
Oh, he
He's got to
is.
be in the top 5.
I've
And
actually
he was Les
researched
Paul's
this.
neighbor. Les Paul was
Yes.
his godfather. Have you ever met him?
Yes. Isn't that I love all of that. Yeah. I've researched some of this just for different stories and reasons, but oh yeah, Steve Miller's up there, the Violent Femmes out of Milwaukee.
Yes.
Of course, we claim Garbage as our own.
hmm
Big was just back in town. So we've got it, but I keep waiting. Who's going to be the next one, the new one? I want that to
Well, there's
happen for
Bon
somebody.
Iver, who's the
True. Oh, very true. Out of Eau
is
Claire.
a
Yes.
huge deal, and he
Yep.
used to. I mean, he was just a kid and would be playing when
Yeah.
at the campus in Eau Claire. The Bodines, I know they've had some
Yes.
issues happen. I probably have seen the Bodines. I bet I've seen the Bodines 40 times during. I love the Bodines.
They are so
Um,
much fun. Yeah.
They really,
Yeah.
really are, and their music holds up fantastically well.
It
Yeah,
really
Wisconsin.
does.
It's funny because Wisconsin. It's interesting to me because the part of Wisconsin where I grew up, right? Like I grew up in River Falls, so
Okay.
we could go over to Minneapolis and you go to First Avenue, which is one
Oh,
of the iconic rock venues in the world, quite frankly.
yes.
Not just because of Prince, but like you go and look at the wall, everybody has played there, right?
Yeah.
Like U2 played there right before they broke it big. Um, but you don't. So you think of Minnesota had their moment, like with Prince and whatever. Wisconsin's never really had that moment, but to your point, they've produced a lot of big bands
Yeah.
and iconic musicians. They haven't had that moment where they're the center of the music ecosystem. It doesn't.
It's gonna
But
happen. It has to.
you think so?
I
Where
hope
will
so.
it be? Milwaukee or Madison?
Between the 2, and now even in the Fox Valley, Green Bay and Appleton,
Right.
there are a lot of great original musicians coming out of that area where
Interesting.
when I worked and lived in Green Bay, it was
Yeah.
very much a cover band place, but not so much anymore.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Really interesting. I think part of it is how much the music industry has changed, right? Like you can
Yes.
have Justin Bieber, that definitely not my cup of tea, but like, they can hit it big on the internet.
Right. Right.
And that's
One
the
of
thing that's
my
crazy.
one of my current favorites, and it has been for a little bit, I think the Jonas Brothers are actually really fun.
Oh, the Jonas Brothers? Yeah, the
Yeah.
Jonas Brothers are all right. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that my kids, of course, are more in tune with.
Oh,
The
I'm
ones
sure.
that I
I'm
don't
sure they
get is
love
like
it.
the Ariana Grandes or
Yep.
like, like
Yep.
some of that kind of stuff is pretty recycled. Really recycled. So who are the bands, and maybe if you can come back on the other side, I'd love to hear who you think are some of the cutting edge Wisconsin bands.
Ooh.
Can we do that on the other side?
Sure,
Because
if
we're
you want
almost up.
to.
What do we have
We can
left?
talk
30
we
seconds,
can talk
Zommers?
music all day.
Zommers has got 4. Well, you have to have me come on the show and we'll talk music sometime.
Oh,
That would
we
be
will
really
do
fun too.
that. Yes.
And in fact, when Todd and I do these tours of Wisconsin, we should team up and go see some live acts in the evening, invite listeners. We could totally
I
do that.
love it. I'll go with
This
you.
All right, we're up against a break. I'm Trygve Olsen. This is the Todd Albaugh Show. We'll be back with the fabulous Teri Barr right after this.
You're listening to Civic Media. Find the latest news, information, and archives of all your favorite shows on the Civic Media website, civicmedia.us.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic. God, that was good.
I gotcha.
Across Wisconsin. I know you did. Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network. This is the Todd Albaugh Show. I'm your guest host, Trygve Olsen. I'm joined by Teri Barr. We're talking about the Wisconsin music scene. We're taking a little break. We did talk some politics on the front end today, but I wanted to take a little break. It's always important to talk about some things that aren't politics. Teri and I thought it was great. Teri and I have had this thing going on for a while. She keeps texting in because I pick the music on Wednesdays when I'm on. We have a love of hair metal. She has a show where she highlights Wisconsin artists. And I was a huge fan of her back in the day when she was on Madison Radio. So we're talking the Wisconsin music scene. And before we cut off, I was asking Teri, so what is the Wisconsin music scene like? I would bet it's pretty diverse.
Oh, yeah, that's a great word. Very diverse. We just had our yearly Madison Area Music Association Awards show, and we had, I don't know, 6 different bands or artists play during the show, and you would think, "Ooh, boy, that's a lot of music." Well, they only played 1 song each, but we had jazz, we had rock, we had metal, we had, a cappella. It's just so great to see these musicians come in and just do what they do best.
Right. I think one of the things people don't fully get is how much music unites, right? Like
Yeah.
I and I had to start this Substack, and when I started it, it was right about the time that the European Song Contest was on, and
Ooh,
having lived over in that part of the world, like people in America don't really fully appreciate what the European Song Contest is like. Talk about diversity in music, but it got me thinking about how it really does pull people together, and I think it says something about Wisconsin that you have that diversity in the music, and maybe part of the love of, like, my playlist. My daughters give me such a bad time because it's all over the place, right? On Spotify when they send the year end,
yeah.
it's everything
I love
from
that.
Metallica to the Suburbs to
Mhm.
ABBA to Taylor Swift, quite frankly.
Yeah.
um I think that's one of the things that makes Wisconsin unique, is that there is no single sound. Right?
No.
Like Seattle hit it big because they had a sound. The Twin
Yeah, the
Cities,
grunge,
Minneapolis,
yes.
St. Paul hit it big because they had Prince and that sort of new wave sound. LA had the
Right.
Sunset Strip, right? But
Yes.
Wisconsin has this diversity, everything from polka bands to metal,
Yes, I love
thrash, right?
that.
And it says a lot about the state.
It does. It's so interesting, isn't it? I love that you brought that word out right away, diversity. And, just to think on a same weekend, you could still go see a polka band and the next day go somewhere else and you're seeing a totally different kind of Wisconsin music. And that's what's so great.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Wisconsin, well, and there's a rich tradition of it. I mean, there's Summerfest. There's what's the name of the huge? I can't think of the name of the concert place. We saw Motley Crue, and they were filming the Same Old Situation video back in
Ooh.
the day. What's the big outdoor concert venue? Maybe it's not
Oh,
still there, but
Alpine
it was one.
Valley.
Alpine Valley, exactly.
Yes. East Troy.
Um,
Yep.
East Troy, yeah, and then you have Madison and all the music scene that's going on there. Um, you could see you could see everything from a polka band to a rap artist
Oh, yeah,
to heavy metal
absolutely.
all in a weekend.
Mhm.
And I wonder if people from Wisconsin get that most places aren't like that. I mean, you got to go to a pretty big city to be able to capture that,
I
I think.
agree, and I'm not sure, and, that's what our show is about, Max Inc., our music show on
Yeah.
Saturday nights. We try to bring in these artists to introduce them to the listeners, and I do the same thing on Pete Schwaba's Nightlight show every Friday night, and I
Mhm.
think what struck me was when Pete said after about a year and a half of this, "I have not given him the same band twice. I keep
Right.
introducing him to new music from Wisconsin.
Fantastic. Well, if you ever want somebody to come on and be your sidekick and talk music, and
Oh,
I will, I
we
would
are
be
going to do this,
all
Trygve.
right.
Absolutely.
And I will hold up my end. I'm going to get on Todd. Zomer's already made a note of it. When we do our little tour of the state, Zomers and I are working on another What Makes Wisconsin Great tour. In
Oh, I love
addition
it.
to doing our shows at college campuses, we need to get Teri to come along, and we're going to, part of what makes Wisconsin great is the music. And
I'm in.
maybe what we can do, we're going to coincide it so the Packers play on Thursday night and the Badgers play on Saturday. We could
Woo.
probably catch some really good music at one of the games. They always have really good bands at
Absolutely.
that Leinenkugel's Lodge. They always
Mhm.
have some. I'll give the Packers credit for highlighting Wisconsin bands because they
Yes.
do actually in that lodge. They deserve credit for that.
There's a new event center in Green Bay called Epic,
Mhm.
EPIC. Any big bands they bring in, the opener is a Wisconsin band.
That is really cool.
I think that's
That
so great
is
and really
really,
important to support your
really cool.
locals.
Well, thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming on,
thank
Teri. I
you.
can't wait when we get up. We'll catch back up. I'll get your
Okay.
contact, and Todd obviously knows how to get a hold of you, and then
Yeah.
we'll go to work on that for September.
I
Uh,
look forward to it.
me too. I want to thank everybody, Mr. Zomers. Thanks so much for driving the ship. You deserve great praise. Thanks to you, all the listeners. I'm glad we got some politics in. I'm glad we got some music in. We didn't get any Green Bay Packers in, but if I ever get a chance to drive the boat again, I will make sure we do that. For all of you, no matter what you do, I'm going to try and do my best, Todd, here. Keep banging on your drum. Bang on it like your whatever your favorite musician is. If you want to be Alex Van Halen, you can bang your drum that way. If you want to be Dave Grohl, you can do it that way. But just keep banging your drum. This is the Todd Albaugh Show. Thanks for listening and stay tuned.
The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.